Welcome, comically frothy mushroom coffees, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we continue our look at the Sonic the Hedgehog oeuvre of two movies as we discuss Sonic 2.
Yeah, soon to be three movies.
Soon to be three movies coming. I guess this Christmas. They just released the trailer today, I think.
They released another trailer?
They released a trailer today, either yesterday or today.
Oh, cool. I probably will not watch it because I already saw the first trailer and that was enough for me.
Okay.
It's coming out December 20th, I believe.
Yeah, I saw some stuff pop up on the socials, so I was a little like, oh, maybe. So
let me guess. You did not much care for this movie.
I actually like this one less than the last one.
I kind of thought you might.
A lot of it has to do, in this movie, I really feel like there were times when Sonic had to forget that he was super fast for plot convenience. There was so much time of him just standing around and doing nothing when urgency, literally what he does.
There were a few like especially in the Siberian bar.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, you're fast. You could just steal that, right?
I mean, he took out every single member, every single person in the American bar, but in the Spanish bar, I mean the Siberian bar, nothing.
Nope. Exactly.
But you know what? The character moment between him and Tails, I liked it enough that I forgave that.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's weird. This movie, there's more stuff to not like. But for me, there was also a lot more stuff to like.
And I guess that's going to depend on your mileage of Sonic.
Yeah.
I really believe it does. I want to start off also with a point I didn't talk about last week, but needs to be addressed. The fact that we kick off this movie with this big, elaborate Sega Films thing, and they're showing us all these games from the Sega history. Not one of these is going to become a movie.
Yeah.
Any of them.
No Shinobi movie, no Golden Axe movie.
No Altered Beast, no...
I would love an Altered Beast movie.
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Hold that thought. You let everybody know what you think. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll tackle this with Andy because I'm sure he'll agree with me. But I really like Knuckles. I thought when I heard Idris Elba was cast as I was like, I don't know, I don't know, because I've played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I was like, that's not quite as deep as Idris Elba's voice is, but when I actually got into it, I was like, you know what? I'll go along with it because it's just a fun character. I've always kind of thought Knuckles was a pretty cool character. Nice addition. He's not my, first or second favorite of the Sonic, cast, but he's definitely in the top 5, I would say.
Who's that? Knuckles?
Yeah.
Yeah, Idris Elba definitely brought some much needed, sanity to the insanity, if you will.
You know who I was talking with a friend of mine at work yesterday about Sonic 2, and it occurred to me, Knuckles is very much like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Metaphors, similes, doesn't understand any of that. But he is strong and he knows exactly when he is dictating the text messages.
Yeah. ...
Dot. You just see
he's just reading that. Yeah, he's just reading the text messages. I think a lot of this movie was, first of all, the second movie, which most sequels do, it hinges on whether or not you like the first movie.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of, and we talked about this last week about, does a video game based movie, a live action video game movie, does it benefit from having so many Easter eggs thrown in? Not even Easter eggs, just references to the game. And while it was nice to hear about Tails coming in and, the whole thing with the echidna and everything, I just, we're back to the power of friendship.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's one thing to work as a team. It's another thing when it's like, okay, yes, okay. Friendship is magic.
Hey, works for me.
Okay, I will say there was one part of this movie that I really enjoyed, and it was the Barracuda scene with Rachel. They finally redeemed the character from the first movie.
I liked that scene, and I liked her whole bit of that. I mean, that was actually the coolest scene I've seen in her of her. I still think the whole like wedding subplot was kind of was pointless. They could have just said that they were going on vacation in Hawaii, and Gunn just the Guardians of what was it? What was that? What was their the acronym for Gun there? I like the fact that even like Maddie was like, really? Because it was just so ludicrous. But yeah, I mean, the marriage whole thing was pointless. Rachel didn't need to be in this movie, but you know what?
It was built for hijinks. It was built so our donut Lord and Savior could have to be like, ooh, to his sister-in-law again.
Yeah, I mean, because like, but when I started with saying there's more stuff to dislike about this movie was like, there was more of Jim Carrey completely overacting as usual. And as soon as he got the Chaos Emerald, I was like, okay, you know what? Every scene that he's on screen, I don't like.
Yeah.
When Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic are all teamed up, like what in the whole climax, when we see Robotnik, at Jim Carrey on screen, I don't like it. When we see Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails working together, I liked it.
Okay.
And so like the human characters were given less to do. I mean, especially like Tom and Maddie, and the whole third act they were reduced to reaction shots.
Right, reaction shots.
Go get him! Yeah. And I actually like Tom's relationship with Sonic in the first movie. This one, I still like their relationship, but they were given a lot less to do.
It didn't, and I'll be honest with you, the whole dad thing at the end, and I know we've spent 2 movies with these guys together, it still felt unearned. It felt weird. Kind of like you just decide at a certain point to start calling your stepfather dad, even though
the dad thing was kind of off. I still like their relationship, but it doesn't really feel fatherly suddenly like it. It's more like older brother, younger brother type thing.
Right.
But that being said, the human stuff I thought took it back. So whenever the human characters are on screen, it was like not as good. But the CG characters, like Knuckles and Tails, I thought were fantastic additions, and their relationship, those 3, I thoroughly enjoyed. I was totally down for that, and that's why I actually have more enthusiasm for the third movie.
A lot of people have got a lot of enthusiasm for this third movie.
Shadow is a much stronger character than Robotnik ever was.
Right.
So having actually a 3-dimensional villain as opposed to the very flat and just literal mustache twirling villain of Robotnik, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. So I'm pulling that up right now. And Keanu Reeves is actually doing the voice of Shadow.
Yeah. I guess when he came into audition for it, they're like, oh, you did your homework. You really studied up on Shadow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Okay. Yeah. And again, this is just one of those things. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who really love these movies, and I'm just simply not one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when we get to that third act, and it was like the giant Robotnik robot, which that's straight out of the video games right
yeah,
there.
I totally understand that as based on all the end credit stuff. Uh,
Yeah, and this in the appearance of Supersonic, I was like, that's like him going Super Saiyan. That is right out of the games. That is right out of the anime. That
yep,
is stuff the anime that Andy will not enjoy.
yep. Well, it has not. Honestly, it has nothing to do with the anime stuff because, like, my son loves these movies, and he's not a huge anime fan. He just enjoys the movies. I don't know if it's just because you know they speak to him as as if a 90s cereal commercial spoke to an 11-year-old back in the 90s, because that's really how I feel that they presented Sonic. Couple of other gripes, if you will allow me the soapbox here. The Home Alone sequence was just like we've seen that 1,000 times.
Yeah,
I'm really tired of the Home Alone sequence.
this,
Also, go ahead. Sorry.
this one I was willing to forgive because I was like, you know what, they could probably do a quick, a fun little scene of him cleaning up the whole thing real fast.
Yeah, exactly. But that all get thrown out the window once he ended up having to show up in Hawaii with all that
Yeah,
snow.
and Knuckles punches him through the wall. So
Yeah. Also, 2+ hours.
just barely over 2 hours.
I don't care. This movie needs to be. This movie is at least 20 minutes over long.
Yeah, honestly, the Siberian bar scene that could have been cut
Oh
pretty.
man, there are a lot of excuses that they're using just to have just to cobble together a soundtrack. I really firmly believe that because it's just
It's a good
everything.
soundtrack.
Huh?
It is a good soundtrack, though.
Well, it's a good soundtrack, but it relies on the same beats that they always rely on. Okay,
Yeah.
yep, tricky. You got.
Yeah, that was I like that scene actually. The whole downward slalom with on Tricky. I had
Yep.
fun with that. I had a lot of fun with that scene. Um, yeah, they could have found a different way to kind of have the connection between Sonic and Tails develop. They
Yeah.
didn't need that Siberian bar scene, but you know what? It was for me. It was a minor gripe. Overall, I still had a lot of fun with this movie because of the strength of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles.
Okay. Looking at runtimes, by the way, this one was just over 2 hours. The first movie ran an hour and 39 minutes. 3 will run
Yeah.
1 hour and 49 minutes.
Oh, they've already announced they've already dropped the
Yeah,
link?
yeah. I mean, the movie's coming out this year. I think they've already got all that going because I think it's going through. I think it's just going through its previews and all that stuff now. So
Yeah. Yeah, if anything, I think this one should have been maybe an hour 49 and save the two over a little bit over 2 for part 3 because Shadow's story there's actually a lot more there than there ever was for Robotnik.
yeah, yeah. I just at a certain point though, it's strange to me that outside of just like basic outlines of origins, which I feel like these characters that were born in the 16-bit, the 8 and 16-bit realm, they don't need a whole lot of explaining. You can explain certain things, fine. And the movie we talk about next week, same thing. We can talk about certain things, but we don't need these gigantic explanations. I like that they did save Knuckles' entire thing towards closer to the end of the second act when I had to hit pause, go to the bathroom, and went, there's still 40 minutes of this movie left.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the connections between Sonic and Tails and Knuckles I thought were fantastic. That moment where Sonic and Tails are talking, they're like on that day we both lost everything we had. That was actually a really touching moment between those two. And yeah, I mean Tails, he been growing up. He had been bullied because of his two tails, and
Yep.
he finally found Sonic, who's just brave enough to go out there, and so he found like someone to look up to, and then actually got to be a friend of his. So
yeah, okay.
And like the whole part with between Tails and Knuckles, like, oh, sorry, hey, with my car, I barely felt a scratch. My revenge will come.
Yeah. I think we're still going to be at a stalemate on this one.
I knew we would be.
Yeah. So now I'm actually, because I think we're kind of done talking about Sonic 2, I'm really interested in hearing what you think about next week's movie.
I am as well.
Because you haven't seen it yet, right?
I have not seen it, no.
Okay. Another movie I had to take my son to, so...
do you want to reveal what it is, or do you want to hold off?
What the hell? Why not? So,
okay.
Like I said before, we are on a shortened review schedule this month because I went away on vacation. Next week is Thanksgiving. So we are going to do one next week. I don't know how long it's going to be, what time it's going to show up or whatever, but we are going to complete our video game trilogy by talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah. Not the Bob Hoskins.
No, which, by the way, isn't streaming anywhere.
You know what? The world is probably a better place for that.
Don't tell Em that.
I know that.
Yeah. She will murder you. She will fly out here just to murder you.
Yeah.
So.
No, we're doing the animated one with Chris Pratt and Jack Black.
Jack Black. Anya Taylor-Joy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about that. But we want to know, what do you think of Sonic 2? Do you like this better than the first? Are you stoked for the third one? We want to know. Leave that comment below. Don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us in the algorithm. Subscribe, because why not? We do this every week. So you can check out all of our weekly reviews. You can also follow us on the socials. We are Geek Salad Podcast on Facebook. We are at Geek Salad Radio on Twitter. We are officially active on Blue Sky. Like, I'm actually posting stuff on Blue Sky. We're on Threads, but nobody uses Threads. Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts, including right here on this channel where we do the audio. We just recorded part 1 of our look back at the movies of 1994. That should be out in about a week or two. Yeah. And then part 2 is coming up with our dear friend M from the Verbal Diorama podcast, hitting all the movies that you're like, wait, they forgot that one. We didn't. We just, give preference to our guests.
Yes.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this one. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
This is short. Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.